Sometimes it's hard to focus, just to persevere and just to make it. But everything that's within your grasp, you gotta take it, you gotta go harder. Just dig deeper inside you to find that method, that mode that wants that hunger to survive, just to ride the grind, to take it the way you gotta take it and never stop.
How much promo was he?
Dude, it was fucking sick.
Nuts.
Are you going to the next one?
Yeah, going to the next one.
When is it?
March 24th.
Oh, pretty soon then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was that was really cool. The people there, first of all, that was the craziest thing. It's like 100 people, like all pretty high level entrepreneurs, or like maybe like smaller businesses. Like some people doing like 30K a month, some people doing like 10K. But then there's like some guys running like $8 million businesses, like $20 million businesses, and they're like now they're probably like 20 to 25.
Yeah.
So it's insane to talk to those people.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That's dope.
Yeah, you're going to the same one as Dan Javon, I think.
Yeah. We might get a spot together too, so we're figuring that out.
Are you guys boys?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, we're boys.
Nice.
Is it going right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just do kind of like a rolling start, and then we can
Okay,
just
cool.
kind of each other.
Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we're good.
What's your goal with going there? Like, what are you hoping to get from it?
So I'm bringing my like operator for 519. So he's coming and he's gonna be with the lens of 519 painters, and then I'm bringing my sales manager for trade launch, and he's coming with the lens of trade launch, and then I'm gonna be with the trade launch.
Nice.
So trying to get like both for both businesses.
Yeah.
Really excited to meet the gym launch guy. Was he there?
Yeah, Kale Owens.
Did you do his breakout rooms with him?
Yes. Yeah, you'll get like or not one-on-one, but like small group time with
Dude,
him.
that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And just like meet and see and just expand, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
What was like your
super
biggest
sick.
takeaway for you guys?
I would say for me, like, honestly, none of the people there running like really big businesses like had anything like super special about them. I would say it was just like time in the game and opportunity vehicle were like the two biggest things like that correlated to like people's business size, which just gave me some things to think about. And then I would say those are the main things I took away. And then also just like applying the lens of your business as an asset. And it's not just about revenue and profit, but like also how like sellable is your business, how systemized is your business, which is something I was already aware of, but it really just like put the numbers to it of like how much could you sell your business for based on the structures and systems that you have set up, not just the profit. Kind of like highlighted some things.
Yeah, honestly, same takeaways. There's some idiots running $8 million businesses, and I was thinking, like, fuck, like this is so possible. Like it just kind of like opened my mind as to what was possible, and then pretty much the same thing. The other thing, what was your second point?
Just like the systems and
maximizing for enterprise value. Like that was pretty much like the first day. It was like how you can maximize your business for enterprise value, and it's just like looking at it as an investor rather than like someone who's like lost in the business. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good lens to look at. I'm excited to go and really see things and like subscription model and like all that kind of stuff. Because you talk about reoccurring. It's like obviously painting. It's tough reoccurring. There are ways to make painting reoccurring too, with like lifetime warranties for touch-ups every year. You go back and do a couple hours of work, but. I'm interested to really see what his take on painting businesses are, or maybe not him exactly, but just the people around that have been doing it. So
dude, that guy is a fucking weapon. Like watching Alex do like a live Q&A session, it's like watching Jordan in his prime. He's just fielding questions like instantly. He knows the best answers, simple framework, super complicated context, and just like this is exactly what you should do. It's fucking sick to watch.
Yeah, that's fire.
I have no idea what trade launch is. Like I know like kind of what you guys are doing. Do you want to explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, it's just like everything I've learned from different places, especially Student Works as well, and just like putting it into like a very compact framework to like do these things, and you'll get more revenue. And
for all trades? Mostly
painting for now, but I just got some fence guys coming in, deck builders, renovation contractors, all the stuff that follows same framework. Like window cleaners, lawn care guys, I don't really take on just because that's different than what I'm used to, like selling. Low ticket, reoccurring. I'm not really coaching those guys, but all the guys that are higher ticket is system we're focusing on.
Everybody, welcome back to Closers Only. We got Big Dog Justin G on today. Super stoked to have you here, man. Really excited. I've been looking forward to this episode for a while. I'm glad you could make the trip down from London. And man, super excited. Got lots of questions.
Yeah, thanks for having me out here. This is a sick spot.
Yeah, respect.
It's confusing coming back. I'm like, where's this guy live? I thought it was your house. I was like, this guy lives in a shack or something. And then it's actually a fire spot.
Yeah.
You live here.
No.
Okay,
I got a house not too far away. I could. It's a pull-out couch here if I need to.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Might live the Musk life at some point, sleep in the office, but...
Gotta do it. I got a bed in my office too.
Yeah, nice. So, Yeah, why don't you start off? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people watching already know who you are. You got a bit of a presence online, big presence in the community, painting, student works, entrepreneurship. But yeah, why don't you just share a little summary of what you're up to these days?
Yeah, my name's Justin. I went to Student Works, did 2 years in Student Works, and then left Student Works, and now I'm helping contractors scale their businesses while still running my painting business.
Nice.
Pretty much it, yeah.
Nice. Awesome. And yeah, so that's Trade Launch, the company that you're kind of working on now. And then you also have like 509 Painters, which is like your painting business.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like what percentage of time are you sort of like putting to each of those?
Probably like 80-20. So like 80% Trade Launch, 20%
Oh wow, yeah.
519. So maybe even 90-10. 519 is like almost fully delegated, where it's like a lot, just brought leaders up, like the guys from day one, just stayed and gave them equity and like have them really involved. So that way I can still use proof of concepts, like we just hired VA, put them into 519 Painters, give them SOPs, and then spit that out into a program at Trade Launch. Like, hey, this is how you can onboard VAs, stuff you have them to do. So just like using it as a proof of concept, especially that's where I really want to keep 519 going, and then still growing the business. So I'm not just coaching. I see a lot of guys that are coaching but not doing it anymore, and it's it's theory, but it's like this is actually what's working right now. So that's really the goal with that, is to use that as a proof of concept for the coaching, and then overall expand to more trades as I go on.
Gotcha. You're using like your business as social proof. Like, hey guys, check it out. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What are your day-to-day like activities like in Trade Launch? What are you working on right now in that business?
Just getting a lot of feedback and talking to the guys I'm working with. I'm doing a lot of free webinars and like free lives and stuff in the Facebook group. Like I'm doing all organic marketing, so I haven't paid a single dollar on ads yet for guys coming to Trade Launch. Wow. I'm just really doing goodwill, where I'm just building a good presence. Then that way, when I'm ready to really offer things, it's like a bit more, easier for people to be like, oh, let's do it. So I'm not really focused on selling right now. I'm just mostly building a presence, building a brand, learning more ways to market. I'm still very new to like the whole online marketing side of things. And then just the guys that I do work with, just giving them as much as me as possible, coaching and like hopping in. I'll coach the team. I'll hop on and onboard some of their new door-to-door reps. So the big thing with that stuff is like the retaining of door-to-door guys. You can find the guys come and go, and trying to build virtual. Because like one of our biggest offers is helping them build like a virtual door-to-door team. So like I help them hire, recruit, train door-to-door team in their city, and some guys are in Pennsylvania or whatever. So just finding ways to really help retain their team. So I'm spending a lot of time on Zoom calls with not only them but their team. So that's really what most of my time is, coaching. Jeez. Yeah, that's a lot.
That's crazy though. So you're 90% focused on your new business, and 509 Painters, like you guys just did just over 2 million this year?
Yeah, over 2. We're already sold $1 million this year, so we're about
quarter. We're already sold $1 million this year?
Yeah, we're gonna do 4. I think we're gonna hit 4. That's the goal. Wow. Maybe not produce a full 4, or the goal is at least to sell revenue 4 and just eat as much as we can of it. We had 16 painters return, so it's like things are good. Like the structure's good. The boys are really motivated, which is great. Like Mark and Joe are like the core of the business. Like the 2 guys, like they're crushing. So they're making good money in it, and then I really treat 519 like a client in Trade Launch. I'm just coaching, coming in, high level stuff. Definitely problems, still fires come up.
Yeah.
Guys fall flat or something, especially when they have the volume that we're at. So like that's where I really step in.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like all Trade Launch.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many hours per week would you say you're in 519?
I haven't done a quote this year. Maybe 7 hours, 8 hours, a couple hours a day. I'll hop in. But weekends, like no.
And is that
mostly it's called? It's like, hey, this came up. It's not like I'll still jump. We have like sales meetings every day. We have drill training, sales meetings every day. We have like a leaders table meeting on 5 o'clock Thursdays where we go on and we just like go over like what's actually going on in the business, where admin and everything like that. Those I go to some of those meetings. I'll jump into meetings sometimes if I just kind of like pop in and see what's going on. If there's like a system that's breaking, like the production, the handoff from estimating to production was getting a little wonky. So he's added in some like more Google Forms, estimators fill out no matter what, like at the end of every quote, just fill it out, whether it's pending or booked, and just every detail possible that they can think of. So little systems I'll add in that I see if I see a hole, but then that's really what my time's doing.
Wow. So what's the structure like in your business? Like how many key people do you have? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's like head of sales, which is Mark. He has like 4 estimators. We're onboarding another one right now under him. And then we have a marketing manager that has about 8 door-to-door guys. Then we also have like the Facebook ads and stuff. And then just a sales admin. So a part-time just admin for sales managing the Pipedrive CRM. So that's like one bucket. And then there's the other bucket where it's a production admin that also works part-time, is just responsible for job costing, everything like that, with a production manager, and then like site supers that each have like about 2 crews each. Then there's some crews that are more delegated that they're just excellent. Like we bought another company, so we just took their crews and like they're already autonomous. And they kind of run their own division.
You bought another company?
Yeah, like during Yeah, during the lawsuit, I didn't know what was going to happen to my business, so I just bought another one just in case. But then lucky to keep them both.
Like another painting company? Or?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. My buddy was going door to door wholesaling properties, like he was wholesaling.
Yeah.
And then these people were selling their house. He's like, "Are you guys selling your business?" He found their business owners. Yeah, they wanted $200K. I bought it for like $40K. And they've been around for 31 years. Their past client list was fat, so we just hit a voicemail drop and email campaign just made
Probably
it.
bucks 40K.
Oh, yeah.
Bucks
They actually had 40K to book, and we got it, so we got that. So it was a really good deal.
That's ridiculous.
And the biggest thing, and that's really why I started thinking of like, just especially to sell. It's like my business at the time, I'm like, I couldn't even sell it either. Even if the revenue's at the mill, it's like, if I were to step out and not have the systems, I couldn't sell it. Now I could sell it, which, and still though, it's still responsible for Mark and Joe. If they left too, and they probably would leave if I left, you know? So it's like still figuring out like how to actually keep people in there that, anyway, there's so much to go in on that. But yeah, so that's where it's at.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of direction you take that. I got so many questions.
Yeah,
What
me
do
too.
jump
Well, I
in
cut
first?
you off. What were you saying?
Yeah, I just want just to like flesh out the org chart. Like, how many crews roughly are you guys that you guys have? I imagine it's like seasonal. Like
Yeah, it's totally seasonal. So it's like it goes pretty slow. Like we'll have like 4 going, like all year. Like we had 4 in the winter.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna ramp up to probably about 13.
13.
Yeah.
And crews of 2 mostly.
Yeah, cruise of 2. It depends. Like the site's super. They have 2 crews of 2. So they're never just like not doing anything. Like they're always on a site, like doing like patches or like cutting around the fireplace. They're doing all the hard stuff. That then the crews just to make sure all like the problems are out of the way.
Yeah.
But they're always on a crew. So it's like a crew of 2.5 kind of going.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then your tech stack, I heard you say you're using Jobber and Pipedrive for the sales. How do you like integrate those?
Yeah. So we use Google Form for like getting leads. So we just do it off our phone. We knock on doors, have our phone in our hand. Do Google Form, goes to Pipedrive. We have different like sections for the lead flow in Pipedrive. If it's pending, they get drips. If it's rejected, they get drips. If it's booked, it goes into first the sales admin.
Sorry, are you using like Drip Jobs or like Zapier?
No, Zapier. So Zapier from the Google Form to Pipedrive. I like Drip Jobs. Drip Jobs is great. Just once you get to a certain point, it's a little bit hectic. So I just wanted to go to Pipedrive because it's that way you can see like closing rate for each estimator, where the leads came from, like cost per lead, like all your numbers you can see. So that's why we want to bring a sales admin in, so they can, when a job is booked, basically, I'm trying to explain everything here. So basically, let's say you just go do a quote. You fill out the Google form after the quote, because we still like the paper contracts, love it. People can sign the spot. I just like that. But as soon as you go in your car after the quote, no matter what happened with the deal, you put in a Google form, very, very detailed synopsis of the job, potential upsells, what equipment you need. It's like a checklist, like all the different equipment, everything you could think of, attachment of video walkthrough of the job once it's done, pictures of potential areas, whatever. So then that goes to a Google sheet. Our sales admin then sees, okay, this was everything on the job that is needed. Now what's the deal status? The deal status is pending. So she'll go to Pipedrive and she'll move the job from estimate schedule to pending, but still put in the price of the job. So that way you can see like how much do you have in pending, how much do you have in this, how much do you have in this. And then if it's booked, she puts in the price first, so we can just track it in our Pipedrive. Then it gets zappered over to Jobber. So Jobber is only used for book jobs, not for anything else. We try to put everything in Jobber, and I think a lot of guys want one thing for everything. Simon's dope for it. Simon's fucking fire.
Yeah.
But we don't have that, so it's like we have to make work. But with that, we have everything in Jobber. It gets zappered over, and then that way we can track our sales KPIs and everything like that in Pipedrive, and then only clients in Jobber. Trying to think of what else. And then that Jobber's nice because you can clock in and clock out on Jobber, and that's connected to QuickBooks, and payroll's pretty simple.
So then you guys use QuickBooks for like your invoicing and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you guys
Jobber for invoicing. You can do invoices on Jobber. I mean, collect payments on Jobber. So
Right,
it's 2.7% you can collect.
That's not
Sure.
terrible.
Yeah.
So all these systems that you have, is that part of kind of what like you're doing in trade launch, like licensing those systems? So is that like
Yeah, I'm just helping guys out like with them, and some guys want to use drip jobs. I do want guys to use drip jobs if they're below a mil. I think it's a great system because you can almost put everything in one. But once they break out, like we have a lot of guys started, and then now they're over to mil. So it's like, hey, let's get your the software is so important, and the back end is really important. It's more important than I even thought it was. So I'm like, hey, if you actually want to delegate, you have to have like everything accounted for in the back. But a lot of times you gotta feel the fire first. You gotta like make the problem to fix it. So now with the guys at Coach, I try to fix those problems as they grow. But everyone has their own thing. That Estimate Rocket's good. I'm still looking at new CRMs all the time to make things even better.
I want to touch on something you said. Yeah. You said some of the guys are around at Mel now.
Yeah.
Have you guys had some client success so far? And
yeah, dude, I had one guy. It's funny. Tyler. He's like the guy that is like he's actually a mindset coach now because in trade launch because he just crushed it and took action right away and he knows the systems well. But he started doing about 120K a year. He's doing renovation contracting. He's working as an electrician, so like that was like on the weekends building his business. Very hesitant to leave his job. He didn't really know if it would work out. And we hopped on a call for trade lots, like a closer's call, like for me to sell them into the program. But I was like, dude, like if you don't quit your job right now, you cannot come in. And he quit his job. He's like looking up to me too. He kind of like thinking, I know he needed that.
Yeah.
So he quit his job, came in, and in 16 weeks, he was sold at $1 million. And that was, yeah. But that's because renovation. He sold a $240K door-to-door job. A guy building an addition on his house. He had to take off a heat lock on his house. So renovation contracting, hired job, like full kitchen, stuff like that. So obviously,
and he's just subbing it out, or
he subs some out. He subs like certain trades like tiling and stuff, but most stuff he has.
That's crazy, man. I would never imagine you saw a $240K job knocking on doors.
Dude, and it was a C lead. So yeah, so he does a C lead follow up. Got the guy's name and number. One thing with door to door, like kind of a subconscious thing, is like if you're able to make it such a reasonable request, just get their name and their number. Once you get their name and their number, all of a sudden they trust you more because they only give their name and their number to someone they trust. So you like help them trust you by getting their contact info. So this guy called Tyler back. Even because he got a C lead, nothing happened. This guy called Tyler, hey, I know you came by the other day, I actually do have a job, we want to build an addition. And it's like, if you were to just leave a flyer, I highly doubt you would have called him.
Never.
You know? But it's like, the trust was built because of like mood follows action. Like, he did the act of giving the number to someone else. That made him think, okay, I probably trust this guy, so I'm going to call him. So Tyler crushed it. There's a lot of other guys that are crushing it, but Tyler's the biggest success story.
Other $1 million worth of jobs in 16 weeks, was that also door to door?
Oh, it was all door to door. Yeah, he didn't launch a Facebook ad yet.
Like fat contracting jobs.
Fat,
like
40Ks, man caves, like that's why I was like, fuck, I'm in the wrong business. Like this guy's crushing, but obviously the profit margin's a bit lower, bigger headaches that come up too. But yeah, and then some guys come in just for sales. Like there's a company, Tritus. Tritus does all my Facebook and Google ads and stuff. So he sends me guys who are like, hey, I'm giving all the guys leads, but their closing rate's like 25%. Like, come help these guys close. So like that'll be our main focus. Is like, let's just get you selling the jobs you already have. Then once you've got that flow, we'll then implement door to door and some other systems.
Yeah.
But just giving people what they actually need at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm curious in 519, like what percentage of your jobs right now are coming from like door to door versus referral versus Facebook?
75% door to door.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty average, like as what I was doing and probably you as well, right?
I was 100% door to door.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was like 20% Facebook, like 5% referrals kind of thing.
Yeah. We still Facebook. Facebook's great. Just like I like that you can turn on Facebook ad and you get results right away. Google, you gotta wait a bit, obviously nurture and everything. I love commercial scrapes and email blasting. Like, oh bro, it's crazy. It's so sick. So that's what we do for guys. Like we got VAs that we'll scrape lists for them. We'll write the email copy and we'll cold email for them. And like we got guys that booked 100K off an email. Just like the first email we sent. That's the first thing we do. Like I learned from Hermosi's, like you want to make someone's investment back as soon as possible.
Yeah,
like, join your thing.
First time to value, right?
Yes, exactly. So on our onboarding call, we do it with them. We just set up the email, we send it out. And it's like we send it out to like 10,000 people in their area because we scrape lists of property managers, realtors, interior designers, like all those car dealerships, whatever.
Yeah.
And we can send out emails, and that's just the reach is huge, and leads just come in. Apartment buildings.
You just get those emails and you just buy them.
Yeah, no. Well, you can. Yeah, you pay a subscription to use a software.
Yeah. Is it what's the software?
D7 Lead Finder.
Oh, okay. I use a different one. Yeah.
Okay. There's so many. And you can test different ones and find like your list. But yeah, you can scrape and then email.
That's that.
And
so now that like 519 is like more delegated and you're obviously like focusing a ton on trade launch, like in the startup, I imagine there's a lot of different things you're doing in trade launch. Like where would you say like the majority of your time is spent? Like what does the actual day-to-day look like in building that company?
A lot of it's the coaching, and it's really just like it's like two things. Like so, I'm not doing the closing calls right now, but I got a remote closer that he's crushing it. He used to sell for Pace Morby. He went through like RCA, like we're in RCA Ascension, like different coaching programs. So he's doing all the calls. He's taking the closing calls. One of my door-to-door manager is actually doing the setting calls. So it's nice because he actually sees what's going on. He has conviction. So when guys come in our Facebook group, then they get called, we get set, and then I'm just focused on posting free content in the Facebook group and then attending the coaching calls and trade launch. So it's really just coaching, content on one platform for now, and then the sales just come in. And we're just working on obviously increasing our closing rate and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah. What's the offer like on trade launch?
The offer's a 16-week offer. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the ticket size?
It's up for debate. It depends on the situation. Like a lot of guys ask me how much. It's like it honestly depends on the situation. So we gotta see if we're even a good fit for guys. Like and we only do one contractor per city. So a lot of times it's like we can't even take one.
You do one contract? Why?
Per service per city.
How come?
We just want to scale theirs. Yeah, we just like it's like if I have a painter in Denver, Colorado. I had 3 other guys that wanted to come in. I was like, I already got one, and we're scaling theirs. When they're 16 weeks done, then you can come in.
Sure.
But a lot of people that I've noticed after the 16 weeks, we have like just a small recurring stay in the community, stay part of the coaching calls, get access to all the new stuff because I'm constantly adding new modules in of what stuff's working in 509, so they can keep access to it.
Yeah.
But the 16 weeks exclusive, but then as soon as the 16 weeks done, they'll take on a new contract in that city.
True. What was that in-person event that you guys did that I saw?
Yeah, that was in London. So just like guys all around London. Some guys came from Michigan and Etobicoke, but that was just like, this is our systems, this is what's working. Did some like cold calling in front of the group just to show like I was calling guys leads in the crowd, and it was fun. And to build a network. Like after that event, people were like, dude, I want to be in that circle again because
exactly.
referrals, like guys doing driveways, guys doing painting, guys doing window cleaning, guys doing lawn care, and it's just like a nice community. And I haven't seen that in London before, like home service especially. I was like, wanted to build that. Then it's good content for Trade Launch too, to talk in front of crowd, get clips and all that kind of stuff. So I got 2 birds, 1 stone.
I have so many questions like more about your business that I'd love to get into, but like first, like what the fuck, like how are you like what are you doing to like scale these businesses to like double every year and like jump into this other thing, like what is your day to day, or more importantly, like what do you think is different between like you and what you're doing versus like just like an average person who's like coming in trying to grow a contracting business, like scaling it slowly? Like is there like a secret sauce, or like what is it, man?
Like treat your people really well, motivate them, like find out what their goals are, like bring them involved deeply. It's like, would you rather have like what's the quote, like a full grape or half a watermelon? So share it, like especially if they earned it. Like you see if their dogs earn their stripes, like give them some company. That's at least what I think.
Yeah.
People say protect equity. It's like I'm down to share the pie as long as they got their shit they got to do. You guys got to find the right people to do that. But yeah, man, I don't know, like just like really like. We go to, like, last year we went to Thailand, just gonna go to Costa Rica, like bring the guys with you. And then the other people that are in the company that want to start growing, like I just sat down with the crew leads yesterday, just like 30-minute meetings at a coffee shop to see kind of where they're at, what their goals are. And they're like, dude, you guys went to Costa Rica, I want to come next year.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, these are things that you got to do. And like, just kind of trying to keep that echo chamber of bringing people in, and then the people that have the same characteristics and like share the same beliefs and stuff, like they're going to want to grow. And people see that it's opportunity for growth. Like it's like a lot of companies are already fully established and they don't really see it, or they're so new that it's kind of like, I don't really know if your guys are going to grow. But having a steady growth pattern and you bring new guys in, giving them more responsibility than they even think they can handle, and then coaching them on it, seems like it kind of keeps guys around.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like what I'm hearing is just like business is a team sport. It's like find the team, develop the team. Like you can't do everything yourself. Maybe some industries are a little bit different, like there is solopreneur type jobs, but from the sounds of it, obviously this is not one. Contracting is very like, people focused.
Totally.
And it's just like building the team, developing the team, like sharing the pie, like you guys are all winning together and you're building something great. Yeah,
absolutely. It's all coaching, man. Like I learned so much from Chris, like even like the coaching habit, like all my leaders read it, and just like he does and it's very inspiring what he's done with Student Works. And it's similar. It's like, how did he build a $30 million contracting business? He's built leaders inside and gave them, a percentage in a sense. They get a cut, they get a profit share, and then motivate them to achieve their goals inside. It's like if you can do that in any business and actually be genuine with it, like actually give what you're gonna say. And but there's still headaches, man. There's still, especially because like the guys I work with are like, they're all like my best friends too, which is like which is hard, but it's awesome because you can have tough conversations, you have some fights, and you make up. It's like it is what it is. They're my brothers at the end of the day. Like it's like they're all gonna be with my best friend at my wedding. I can see that already. But yeah, so it's a balance for sure.
Nice. That's sick. Yeah, I've started noticing that in my business. Like I no longer have time to like hang out with like just like friends, like old high school friends and whatever. It's like I'm getting the social connection through my business. Like we're all growing together. It's like the social and the work, like it's all one. It's all one. Like, we're growing together. Like we're building the lives we want.
You go out to eat dinner and you're talking about business. You're talking about your dreams and everything. It's like it's just everything is compounded. If you can create like echo chamber, like I'm saying, of like everything I'm trying to do is like a money driving thing in some way, shape, or form. It's like even a steak dinner, it's going to lead to us making more revenue. So it's like trying to build that and bringing the people in. So it's like even like my buddy Amar, like he's the one that's my closer now for Trade Launch, and it's like I wouldn't want it in any other way, because like now when we hang out and just go do whatever, we're talking about things, we're sharing new ideas, these new videos, I want to implement this. So it's like we're always working, even when you don't feel like you're working.
Yeah, I like that. Tell us more. One thing you said is like, everything you're doing is like money driven. I'd love to hear like more about that, and like, why you're sort of like chasing that money, like what it means for you, like, maybe just like, like what are your core values? Like what is driving you? Like what does money mean?
And by money driven, I mean like build, like, I guess it's growth. Like, money's a term that I use, but it's like just, it's always trying to grow as a business, grow as a person. You grow as a person, you'll still make more money, like just growth in general. And being around those people that when you grow together, and that will impact your business because you guys are in the same business. That's kind of what I'm saying. The biggest reason I'm doing it is like after COVID, when I realized like Canada's pretty sketchy, the whole world is like pretty bonkers, where it's like, I would love to the point where I can like, if shit goes down, some communist stuff happens, it's like, let's hop on a jet, like we're out of here. And then the business is online, so it's like, kind of like Tate shit, bro. Like the way Tate shit, seriously, it's like, it's actually dope. Like it's like he went to jail, Romanian dungeon, and like a trust fund owns some other shit that had money here. It's like, money's just stored energy, and like the more you can make, the more protected you are, the freer you can move. And it sucks that that's how it is, but it's just how it is. So just freedom is a big thing, and that's like core values in trade launch, like freedom and family. A lot of times when I bring a guy on, it's like, why do you want to hit mill this year? It's like, because I want to make more money. It's like, okay, why? And you keep going down. It's like freedom and family. It seems like it's always freedom and family, and that's what the guys like. All our core values are pretty much similar. Who we work with.
Wow. Yeah, I like that. I love that you said money's a store of energy. I always say that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, for me, I do, like for you mentioned like the communist thing or like something going down. Like I feel similar. And for me, the way I envision it is more like technology changes, like potentially like AI things coming along. And like, I think that there's going to be a lot of changes happening in our society over the next, 20, 30, 40, 50 years and maybe sooner. And like, for sure, there's like a place where like having the freedom, having the money, having that store of energy puts you in a position where like whatever happens, like you can be okay. And then like you said, family, like the people around you, like you can be okay. And I think that's like really important for a lot of people.
Yeah. Like, I don't want my kids to go to like public school. Like I want to make sure like they have like a guard over their mind in terms of like what they're learning. Cause I think that things are all backwards. Almost everything's a lie. So you say, if you look at history, they like rewrite history. Like, I was listening to a podcast and like Alicia Keys, I don't know if it was in the Super Bowl or something, but she hit a wrong note. But if you go back and watch, like altered it and hit the right note. So it's like, that reverted history. So it's like, that actually changed history. So it's like, if you were to say, hey, Alicia Keys hit the wrong note, it's like, no, she didn't. It's like, look, this is the proof, fact check this. It's like, oh shit, that's a note. Over time, that could be anything, right? It could literally be anything. So it's just crazy. Like, so it's like, I want to protect, and I think money protects and like systems protect. And then overall character. So it's like, you take away everything from someone. It's like, still, it's like money just amplifies your situation.
Yeah.
So obviously character is most important.
Yeah.
But
if you're an asshole, you're probably gonna probably still be an asshole.
Totally.
If you're amazing and generous with $10, you'll probably be amazing and generous with $1 million.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's next for you, man? In a long term, like what's 20-year Justin look like?
Trade launch.
Yeah. You think it's that long of a play?
Oh, totally. I think forever.
Yeah, sweet.
Forever, for sure. And it's like more done for you. I'm just seeing a lot. There's like seeing holes, and it's like there's so many different coaching programs. I've done a lot of them where it's like I don't want to be even remotely close to it. So I'm just finding ways to be very, very unique, and that's a lot of stuff is just done for you. Done for you, interviews, done for you, just like so much done for you.
Trade launch is going to be a lot done for you?
Yeah, there's like a team behind that we go and we actually like help scale. And then over time, we're looking at potentially equity. Like I'm going down to North Carolina to help a guy build his door-to-door team and launch it. So it's like kind of like how Gym Launch started.
Yeah.
And it's just like trying it out. It's like, this guy wanted me to do it. It's like, I'll try it, see how that works. If that's something that works, it's like the world's our oyster to like what we could play with.
Yeah, totally. You can literally go run this business wherever in the world you want.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
What's the plan for scaling it then? If it's done for you, would it just be like hiring like the most internal people to be able to go in with other people's businesses?
Yeah, it's going to be done with you, done for you. I just want to be able to offer that. That's what we're implementing right now, and then just building more people in. I just love running business with people. Like you could definitely run a coaching program and have like 2 or 3 guys with like a solopreneur kind of style. But it's like you have a full team that's like the same team that you have in your painting business. You have that amount of people inside an offer program online. It's like that's insane. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, I want to go online so I can make more profit and I can just work kind of like lifestyle business. I don't really care about the lifestyle right now. Like it's like I'm down to just like bring people in, grind, do different responsibilities, scale it, and then lifestyle will just come as a byproduct.
I have another question for you. Since your trade business 519 is pretty different from trade launch. Like obviously like they're in the same vertical, but it's like totally different models. It's totally different like ticket sizes. Was there kind of like a lag period when you came into this and you're like, fuck, I have no idea what I'm doing? Like, was it tough to start? Was it easy for you? Like, what was the starting process of that like?
The starting process was not worrying about, I wasn't worrying about like income for the business because that's where there's pros and cons to it. When you're already having money coming in from one business, the second business, you don't really feel like the sense of urgency. Your back's not really against the wall. So you have a little bit more time to get creative. So at the beginning, I was like, I just want to first build a brand in one channel. So I chose Facebook. I want to just like become like the guy on Facebook and like messengers and the group chats or whatever. And then over time as the offer expands. So I was already building the program. Like when I first started StudentWorks, I started building the program just because I saw they were using school. I was like, oh, school's pretty cool. I'm gonna start building my own school. And that's when I was like door-to-door masterclass and like hire guys in my team. They go through door-to-door. And then that just kind of built itself where I started adding in systems inside of school. And then when I was like ready to launch, I was like, I don't want to just start trying to sell people something. I don't really know if it's working yet. So keep going. And then when I saw 519 really like, it's actually working really well, I was like, okay, I'm ready to do that. That answers the question.
Yeah, no, kind of. Just because, like, you know, you were taught to run a painting business, but no one's teaching you how to run trade launch. So,
I've already spent like $100K in courses to learn how to run an online business.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm all right now. This is my like investing time in myself. Like,
holy shit!
I'm going.
What kind of courses did you get?
I got Predictable Sales Club. That's like how to run an organic online Facebook group.
Yeah.
So took that. I took RC Ascension, Agency Lab with Joel Kaplan. Did like one-on-ones with Joel. Joel like helped Hormozy build his marketing side. And what else did I take? And then with masterminds, like going to Patrick McDavid in October. It's like the CEO one. We're gonna go to his house, have cigars or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, super stoked for that.
That's crazy.
Nuts. Andy Elliott going to 2 of his, and then Hormozy. Just like I'm ready to just like, I'm not really worried about where the money's at. I'm just like putting it back, and then just seeing what happens. Just trying to get in a room with bigger people.
Yeah. Yeah, would you say that with the money you spent so far on coaching that it was worth it?
100%.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would say the same thing. We've spent a lot less, but I mean, I've spent a lot less, but it was totally worth it. Hormozy.
Well, it depends on how much you made in StudentWorks. Like you paid a royalty, like that's what you spent on coaching too, right?
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah, it's like great. It's worth it though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back and try to get a refund. Like, so I think it's so worth it to spend money coaching. If I'm trying to sell a coaching program, I don't want to be the guy that's like not buying coaching, you know?
Yeah,
because you kind of are what you get. Like,
yeah. No, I know some coaches who don't buy coach. I was like, who's your coach right now? I'm like, oh, I don't really have. I'm like, what the
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. So I always talk to my guys in coaching, like, hey, my coach said I should do this. I'm doing this for you. Like, you know, just show that this is what I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah. So I know like me and Phil obviously are kind of, well, I'm still in StudentWorks. You're 1 year out. I'm probably in my last year of StudentWorks, and I'm curious, like, what were the takeaways that you had from that experience? Because obviously 2 years scaled your business to almost about 500K and then about $1 million. Mm-hmm. And obviously, you know, you're continuing doubling every year after that. But like, what were kind of like some of the main takeaways and things you learned from those first 2 years in your business?
Yeah, bro, everything. StudentWorks is awesome. Leadership, coaching to develop instead of just coaching for performance. Recruiting is so important. Recruiting is way more important than I thought it would be. I've always thought sales. Like even that $1 million year, I was still focusing more on sales. So it's like, how much are we pre-sold? Like feeling all stressed out. It's like we started with more sales pre-sold for $1 million than we did for 2, but we built the boat better. I remember talking on the phone about that, just building the boat. And so that StudentWorks taught a lot about that, production trap, just the coaching, man. Like just the coaching is just beautiful. Like if you're actually just like, I just see myself as a coach on the team that sometimes puts this jersey on and plays, but like most of the time coaching, and just finding guys that want to play. That's nice. Just treating people well and like having events and dressing up nice, like even just wearing a suit and tie, you feel better. Yep. You know, all that kind of stuff. The way that they treat their people, their coaches were great. Joe Kim was great. Like everything was just beautiful at StudentWorks. Mm-hmm. And even though shit happened, like it's like I would still tell people go there. It's great. Yeah, like, you know,
it's a pretty great program. Like I've learned so much, like, in so many different areas. Not obviously you learn how to like run like a basic trades business, but like you said, it's really like the coaching, the scaling, the culture, all that stuff. So yeah, you said like some shit went down. Why don't you like clear the air? Like what happened with StudentWorks? Yeah,
I think there's always gonna be different perspectives. Like I'm not a horrible guy, and I think some people think like, oh, I'm like some horrible guy. Maybe I made mistakes for sure. I made mistakes. Do I regret my decisions? No, not at all. Am I sorry? Like I'm sorry about how I handled it. I think I could have done it better. I could have given more time. But dude, we're young. Like we have like, you know, sometimes you're caught in a crossroad, you don't make a decision enough time, you procrastinate a decision, and then it's like the worst time to make it, you just have to make the decision. And it's just, then you gotta look out for yourself too, and it's difficult decisions to make. And you know, I did what I did. I got feedback from family and I was really contemplating on it. I think that I don't even want to get too much into it because like there was things that were said that I feel like I kind of got slighted a bit, and words weren't kept from people I thought would totally keep them. Deals were made verbally that were then came back and bit me in the butt. So it's just like things happen. But at the end of the day, man, it's a great program. I highly recommend it to people, and you know, you pay the price. Like I paid the price for doing what I did, and I would tell people that if you're thinking of leaving, wait the period of time and then go to your business. unless you can afford to not. You know? You know?
Yeah, that's kind of my plan. Yeah, part of the reason I'm like asking, part of the reason I'm so excited to bring you on is because obviously you started, you know, before me, like you started 2 years before me, and I see myself kind of, you know, trying to follow somewhat of a similar journey, obviously different in some other ways as well. And so, yeah, I'm just looking at, you know, probably waiting out the non-compete and like potentially running my business back.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, like, because I was putting myself in your shoes, and I'm like, well, you know, you have all these people on your team who are like committed to you.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't really just like put a business on hold for a year. Like those people need jobs, they need to go do stuff and stuff.
Especially when they have kids, you know? So I was like, hey, these guys have families, like we already have jobs booked, like jobs got pushed next year, and I could just keep staying, but the royalties were just getting a little too hefty. Like I've spent over 300K in royalties to them, and it's like, I feel like at some point, I was trying to negotiate royalties down a bit, and it's like, that's okay. Like they're a business, they're a family business. I respect their boundaries completely. I just didn't fit there anymore. And even remember Chris saying, he's like, yeah, you kind of you outgrew the program, like in a sense, like you're kind of outgrowing it. And I if they had a ProWorks, I probably would have went to ProWorks. So if they had like a different thing, like a 5%, keep running and get coaching, I probably would be doing that. There just wasn't something there. So I was like, I have to make a decision and then do taxes too. Like you just don't, there's those things in StudentWorks I didn't really know, like what Patrick was telling, and I wasn't maybe acting on it.
Yeah.
So it's like you see tax bill, you see this, I see the royalties, I'm like doing real math. I'm like, okay, I think I gotta leave, like to go, you know, just make sure things okay.
Yeah. So what would you do like differently if you had to do it again?
I would have spoke my mind sooner. Like I was gonna be a coach, and then I backed out of being a coach. I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I was like being kind of a yes man, like taking on too many things, agreeing things that I didn't necessarily think were actually good at the time, but I just wouldn't want to say no. And then that bit me in the butt. Just like waited too long. So just like speaking up more ahead of time, not signing back if I didn't know it was for sure. You know, I never went to the company trips. Probably going to some of the company trips. I obviously couldn't go because of the vaccine or whatever for the one, so I just couldn't go, and that caused a lot of headache too. I don't even want to get into that stuff.
Sure. I'm curious. A lot of people, and you know, once you're done 2 years in StudentWorks, they'll tell you to go into coaching, and obviously, like now you're in like a very coaching role. Like, what was your process looking at like, oh, should I become a coach or not? Like, did you just not see the value in it? Because I was also looking at, hey, should I become a coach? And I was like, fuck, I just want to hop right into the like job market, like start running my own business. I'm sure Will's kind of in a similar spot. Like, what were you thinking about? Why don't you become a coach? Like, if you see like you're a coach now, you know, why don't you take like a year or two to be just like a coach in StudentWorks and level up that skill there?
Yeah, that could have been a good decision too. There's a longer trajectory, and maybe I would have had more skills already associated to then start the coaching. But then this was another year of waiting again. So I was like, I really want to do this. I feel like I was already a coach in my business, where I looked at other guys doing their DMing, and a lot of times like their size of DMs with the people they coach were similar revenue size. But like I feel like I already had the experience of full delegation and coaching leaders inside my business to do the mill. So I was like, okay, I already kind of did DMing, I felt like. And I was reading a lot of books and doing a lot of self-development before StudentWorks, so I felt like there's some things I could kind of just go do. I just wanted to bet on myself and just go for it.
Let's go. Yeah, I read that.
Nice.
Really be kind of on the same side.
It's funny because I had so we just went, like we had the Above Men retreat this weekend.
Yeah.
And I was talking to like Quentin and Olivier just about like coaching, and they were kind of like, you know, Quentin was kind of like trying to enroll me in the idea of just like the development I would get like through coaching.
Totally.
And it was he definitely touched on the like ego play of just like, hey, maybe you're just like not as good as you think you are.
Totally.
And I was like, shit, like that's probably true. Like I know Amber just chatted like recently on our StudentWorks sales training about like you know, how he potentially could have gotten some value from being a coach. And so, you know, it's got me thinking, look, what's next for me? And I think I'm leaning more towards doing sort of like my own thing, but I'm just kind of like considering like what is the value of being a coach. And like this year I would say I basically am a mini coach. Like I've got 4 operators within my business who I'm like training, and I'm getting so much, like every year in StudentWorks I feel like when I was before I was a production manager, I was like, oh, I know how to run a business. I went to business school, and then I was a production manager and I was like, holy fuck, like that was crazy. Now I know how to run a business. I managed all the crews going into the operator year, and then I was like, holy fuck, now I actually get how to run a business.
And you'll keep, and that will keep happening.
Yeah,
and the handcuffs will get tighter.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing about it. It's like just golden handcuffs. It's not your thing yet. So it's like when you want to truly do your thing, maybe it's ego, but maybe it's also you're like betting on yourself. So it's like you'll, no matter what you do, you'll learn. You're right. You'll learn if you leave and you shit the bed and it doesn't go well and you regret the coaching. You'll learn that whole situation will be a framework to make future decisions. We're so young. Or you can wait and keep doing it and get more coaching inside that program. But at some point, it's hard to leave. And I see that with guys that are a bit older in there that talk about leaving and then they don't. And I see it. So I'm like, I just don't want to, I see the pathways. I looked at it, I was like, I just don't want to, there's people I didn't really want to be like too that were kind of above me too. I was like, I don't want to follow that route, so I want to go a different route. And there's the guys I looked up to outside of that. And it's good to get a perspective from people outside of it because it is an echo chamber. And a lot of times there is always a little bit of like a sale going on, a little bit. And sometimes
they're all massive enrollment, right?
Absolutely. And they only know what they've done, right? So it's just good to get outside perspectives. I've talked to family members, I talked to other coaches. I just said, this is my situation laid out. What do you guys think I should do? And I got a bunch of advice, got some good advice, bad advice, and I acted on pros and cons, and I did what I thought were the pros. And I don't regret it.
Yeah, I guess just like on the other side of it for me, like one thing that it's like grass is always greener. Like here's a funny analogy that happened in real life for me is that me and my university friends, we got a house in second year, and then we lived there for a couple of years, and then in the last year of school, we were kind of thinking like, hey, should we move out? Should we not? We're like, yeah, we've lived here for a bunch of years. Like, let's just go see what else is out there. And so we didn't sign back. And then we went into the job market or into the house market and we like looked and we realized, holy shit, prices went up so much. Everything's already taken. And we ended up getting like a way worse house for a way more expensive rent. And so that's kind of like been a little bit in the back of my mind where it's like, look, I came into this program broke as fuck with very little skills. I had done, similar to you, a lot of like self-development, but I hadn't actually actualized any of that. And then I came in here and all of a sudden I'm making tons of money. I've met a community of people that are like way levels up from anyone else that I had in my life. I'm building amazing relationships. I'm leveling up as a person. And so, I'm just kind of in the back of my mind, like, hey, let's not like act too soon and just like leave this all behind. So it's interesting to kind of like, sit down with you who did make that decision to leave, and obviously not in a way that, maybe some things happen and whatnot.
I think it's like planning your exit. You got to exit plan, right? So it's like maybe going forward, before you leave your next house, you might look at the next house first and like be like, okay, this is a good deal. Let's get that, and then let's cancel the lease. It's like seeing both, like planning ahead, which I try to do the best, and there's obviously improvements to make going forward with things. So, but I just like you just want to be around a community. Like I got really good friends, like especially with even running those networking events. Like there's guys doing. There's like Nick Snow, he does multiple mill, and I hang out with him, and like Jackson, he does a mill in his window, and I hang out with him, and like I'm still hanging out with guys that are doing things and have better systems than I have, so I can learn from them. Just making sure you still have a network. That's so important. The Student Network is killer, but it's all very similar. They talk the same, do the same thing. It's very, very similar. So it's like good to also see what else is out there and then make a decision.
I have a question on self-development kind of part of things. I'm curious as to what like your routine habits are right now. A lot of guys in student works are like trying to optimize for physiology, optimize for energy, like how are you optimizing for those type of things?
I'm trying to drink more water. don't drink enough water. You guys, can I get a water actually?
I know you were on the ice baths too in like 2018 before that shit was trendy.
I feel like self-development changes over time too. I feel like now it's like I don't really have a lot of routines. I just like get up and like just try to work.
Sure.
I've been doing rucks in the morning, like weighted walks at like 5 a.m. with just some guys. But I don't do it all the time, but it's like I'll go out with like Amar and Tyler and some guys, and he's in the military, so he's like, come do it. But I don't have like a set of routines other than the gym as much as I can. But if there's things I have to get done, I do put business right now before that. Right, I am doing that. So it's like that's stuff I gotta.
Well, that's what Hermosi says, because I was just curious where you lied on this, because Hermosi's like, fuck your morning routine, like just wake up and start working.
Totally. Yeah. I just found that like I used to do the ice baths and then I do the thing, I read the book, I'd be fucking exhausted. By like 10. But it helped. I feel like when you don't have a business to run, like the business is self-development itself. Doing the hard shit inside the business.
Right.
You can go do a bunch of hard shit. Thank you, bro. Of course. You can go do a bunch of hard shit outside the business. And then you gotta go in the business to do the hard shit anyway.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, thank you. I feel like you got a bandwidth of hard shit you can do in a day. So like, do I exhaust it on a routine, or do I want to just like do like the minimal effort I need to do to like make sure I'm healthy, and then go put all that extra hard shit into like what I'm gonna do anyway. And that's still self-development, man. You're dealing with people, you're doing mundane tasks that you just have to do, that you don't really want to do, but you have to do it. Like that is in itself self-development. Before the business though, I was really self-development in terms of like the ice baths, the books, the really long runs, because I didn't have anywhere else to exert my energy. But now that I have the income producing machine, I'm gonna put that hard work into that instead of like onto my self, because it's kind of the same thing anyway now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I saw one of your reels, was like, I was sharpening my sword. I thought that was hard as fuck.
Yeah, totally, bro.
Just waiting for a dragon to come around to come kill it, and then once you see the dragon, like, fuck sharpening your sword, go kill it.
Yeah. And then a lot of times the dragon makes your sword sharper if you lose, especially, you know.
True. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, one thing Alex Hormozi's talked about is, like, he also, I think, had that period where he was, like, reading all the books, doing all the things, all the self-development, and then he was like, oh, well, then when I started actually just, like, doing the work that needed to be done, then obviously he saw the returns. And I think one perspective of it is, like, oh, yeah, like, he started doing the work, and then that's where it comes in. But I think there's a potential that period of time where he was doing the self-development is what allowed him to get the outside returns.
So you build your bandwidth of hard work ethic. Like, it's like, that's all it is. Self-development is just building your ability to sit in discomfort, work hard on things that are difficult, and that's just a muscle you're building. But as soon as you have now a place to execute on that muscle, it's like you're just like lifting a different weight. You're still lifting weights, you know? Yeah.
Dude, I'd be so interested to hear like some of your life philosophies. Like, what are some beliefs about life that you have?
Boundaries are important. Setting boundaries, setting expectations with just people in your life, and like if you don't like if someone's treating some way, like saying it instead of like waiting too long. The partner you choose is very important as well, and like how they can impact things and setting expectations with that. Because a lot of times you could build a kingdom and the person you're with could sabotage it, like by accident, right?
Yeah, there's a verse in the Bible. It's like, do not like be caught lying with the ruiner of kings.
Yeah, or it's like
it's just like a woman. Like,
well, and they say it's like the woman you choose in your life is very, very important. And it's like, would you rather? It's like there's a verse in the Bible about it too. It's like it's better to live with like in a den with lions and dragons than to like pick the wrong wife, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's what I'm really thinking about right now with my girlfriend too, and we're always talking, communicating, set expectations, growing together, and it's very beneficial. So it's like that's one philosophy, is like just being careful who you bring in, and then set expectations with those people, and then just being able to like say when you're wrong and like apologize when you're wrong and like stuff like that. It's easy to get bitter and like hold stuff back, but if you know you're in the wrong, like, you gotta own up to it. And like that's a lot of times with leadership. Like there's times where I can lash out or do things I shouldn't be doing, and like I gotta quickly like see that and call it myself, and then own up and face the consequences. So it's just like that feedback loop of like make a mistake and then reconciling should be a lot smaller than delaying it.
Yeah. Do you believe in God?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going like I'm more into Orthodox Christianity right now, just like with the things that are going on in my life. And I haven't been going to church every single Sunday, but I'm going more, saying the Jesus prayer, praying. Right now my mom's going through, like she's going through cancer, and it's like spread pretty rapidly, where it's like they said months, and like it is what it is. But it's so beautiful to see her look at me and say, Justin, like, just so you know, like, I'm fully accepting no matter what happens. It's God's plan. Like, if I go, I go. And I was like, I was watching a lot of videos on it too, of like loss, and it's like, especially when, like, it's nature, you know, it's nature. Like, your parents raise you and then they go first. But it would really suck if I went first and my mom got to experience me losing me, right? So it's like, it's just like, it's all coordinated in nature and it's God's plan, and just like trusting that. And that's a big thing too. Like, I think faith is so important in building businesses and doing everything, because even during the lawsuit, I was really stressed out, but I had faith it would be okay. And like during all the shit that happens, when my vehicles got stolen, like I just had faith it would be okay. And I think I see different people that are experiencing maybe mourning or loss in different ways. You see some people panicking and getting really scared. And a lot of times you look at what their background and beliefs are, it's like they don't have faith. They don't really know, they don't have a belief system.
How does your like religion or your belief system play into your business?
Just trying to treat people how I want to be treated, asking for forgiveness, just trusting the process, and I pray every night, and like just like connecting with something, you know, and then not being scared to talk about it too. I think a lot of people are hesitant to be like, oh, this is my religion or whatever, and it's like I'm so open to just as long as someone has a belief in a God, like I think that's beautiful. It's like something there, right? I think as you do more research and stuff, like your beliefs start to change and alter depending on the findings you find and the experience in your life. But I used to dabble a lot in like psychedelics and stuff too, which also expanded my mind on certain things. Like I don't really do that anymore just because of now the path I'm on. But it's all very important.
Cool share. I found myself in a pretty similar position to you. Yeah. I try to treat people well, try to ask for forgiveness, and using like Christianity as a base for that.
Yeah. Cool.
Do you think stress is good or bad?
Great. Yeah. Great. Yeah. I was just like, the other day I was thinking, it's like, sometimes you think like, oh, I wish I didn't have this problem. It's like, if you actually wish you didn't have any problems, like you would not grow at all. And a lot of times we self-sabotage even in that sense. Like, oh, I wish everything's easy. And we have those in the back of our head. It's like, oh, one day it's going to get so easy. It's like, why do you want that?
Yeah.
You know, why do you want that?
I have a new meme I'm trying to like build up. It's just cortisol maxing. Just like trying to max it.
It's interesting, like even with the ice bath, like there's voluntary stress and then there's involuntary. So it's like if you were walking on ice and you fell into a river of ice and no one was around and you're panicking, your cells, and this is what Jordan Peterson was saying, your cells will react differently when you're involuntarily under stress than if you decide to step into the ice bath and you make a conscious decision to go into the stress. Then that'll actually, your cells will respond differently and that'll build your strength of your cells because you're preparing for it. But if you go into a situation where it's like it hits you blindside, a lot of times that can actually, that stress can be decaying. Just like planning your stress properly and trying to control as much your stress input and like, I'm going to voluntarily do this hard work and do the stress and I know it's going to make me stronger, but limiting, and that's what systems come into play, because if you get blindsided by late payroll or all these things, that's negative stress where you're like, fuck, you're stressed out, it wasn't according to plan. So I try to limit that stress, but really build up the other kind of stress.
Cool. I have a question, kind of a jokes question. If you deep dive with your Instagram, Will, if you want to put the clip up, post edit, there's a video of you swimming into water, like in a lake. And like you don't see you at first, and then like after 15 seconds you pop up. So you've been under this cold water for 15 seconds with 2 fish in your hand.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on, bro? Like,
I just caught the fish.
Okay.
I caught the beer ice fishing. I caught the fish, killed the fish,
Yeah, okay.
and then I was like, "Okay, boys, are gonna go."
Crazy living,
Yeah.
That's cool. No, I think I want to go a little bit deeper on some of the things you're talking about, just about faith and of voluntary versus involuntary stress. I think it's fucking insane, the power of the mind. Like there's a couple studies that when I heard of these studies, I'm a very big logical thinker. You'll notice I bring up a lot of like studies and stuff. But I think the studies start like pointing to other things. And like one example, I remember I was actually doing this for like a research project in school, and like I'm sure everybody knows about like the placebo effect. But there's a study that shows that people who pray to God have better results with their own cancer. So if you have cancer and you pray to God, you're more likely to have better outcomes.
Totally.
Right? And then
That's
we can
prove it?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's crazy.
And you can logicize it, and you could like, the thing is, people like put the placebo effect aside, and it's like, oh, it's just the placebo effect. But the fact that you can actually control your mind to the extent where somehow, some way, like that faith, that belief in God, and that like prayer for it will internalize within your body and actually help kill cancer cells is crazy. And then another one that I read, and it also kind of like started shaping my perspective more on like the stress related, but also just faith and placebo. I think it's all intertwined. Is they gave people like these shakes, and one group of people, they said this is like a healthy shake post workout, it's going to help your body, and the other group, they said this is super high calorie, very unhealthy.
Absolutely.
And the way that their body processed the shake and turned it into fat or muscle was actually different just based on the way they perceived it. Beautiful. Which is fucking crazy.
That's awesome.
It's almost like the human psychology is wired to have faith, and for faith and a belief in something bigger and more important is almost like an integral piece of the puzzle for like a good, profound human experience. Like it's almost like that is one piece of it. And I think trying to go through life and just ignoring that is potentially not the way to go.
Absolutely. I love how you say it. People are like, oh, it's just a placebo. It's like, well, what the fuck is placebo?
Yes.
That is like, and that's why some people can eat bread their whole life and believe that just off this little bread I'm eating, I'm going to be okay and live a long life. And some people can smoke cigarettes, not thinking that it's bad for them because they grew up that way. Like my grandpa, he lived to 90 smoking darts every day in his house. It's like, but if I thought if I smoke cigarettes, I'm going to die at 30, I probably would die at 30, It's like, it is interesting of how the body reacts to like your beliefs. And there's a book called The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, which is like our cells, we thought the nucleus of the cell was like that brain in the center, but the nucleus is the fluid around, which responds to vibrations, and vibrations are from your thoughts. So that's like quantum entanglement. And that's what we're really getting to from my mom right now is like, there's like some like quantum ray guns and shit that we're looking at. It's fucking insane, but I believe it. I'm like, I'm down. And it's like, at the end of the day, she's deciding whatever she wants. She's very into that stuff too. She grounds every day. Like she's one of the most healthiest people I know. Even only wear cotton, don't wear the polyester stuff, like grass-fed, grass-finished, like ghee, like grass-fed ghee, like so healthy. She lives out in like the woods basically, where she loads her fireplace with wood. Like she's the healthiest, right? So it's like, that's where I'm having faith as well. It's like, it's God's plan. And instead of praying, God, please save my mom, like, God, just do your will. Do your will be done. Like, that's it. I'm not going to try to control the future and pray for an outcome that I want, because I don't know what the best outcome for the actual history of whatever the thing's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's one thing I'm working on too, is like not trying to pray for results, but like pray for just God's plan to happen how it should be. And that allows me to have less fear of control, where it's like it just is what it is, and it's going to happen the way it needs to happen. I'm going to pray that happens in the best route, but I'm not going to pray that I get this result or this happens here. But yeah, the placebo is nuts too. So it's cool.
Yeah, and the importance of like prayer, I think, is like something that shows up again and again, and it shows up in different facets. I know you mentioned like more of like a religious faith, and I think that is it for a lot of people. And then another example of how it might come up, like here, this book that you gave us. By the way, respect for the gift, man.
Yeah, of course.
Showing up here, got a gift for me and Phil. It's amazing. This book is like a Bible in some ways of sales and of just like a life philosophy, and it really is about the idea of like subconscious programming.
Totally.
Another book, I think you actually recommended this book to me when we first chatted when I was coming into StudentWorks, Think and Grow Rich.
Absolutely.
And I read it every single day. And it's really just like subconsciously programming and that like awareness of your goals, or in this case of like, just like philosophies about, the way to be in your career and life. So it seems like it's been something that's been like important for you, like that kind of like prayer, that subconscious programming, like those mantras. Like, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know where it started, but I got into that. I think a lot of it was going on YouTube and trying to figure out my purpose in life. So during university, I was so lost, like before StudentWorks. And then as you kind of get into self-development space, you get into affirmations, you get into the mindset stuff, and it's just so important. Like, go back to sharpening the sword. It's like you are the sword. It's like, if I could read about all this business theory, or I could read a book that's saying like, I will persist until I succeed. I will and I'm programming myself. Then I'll take more action on the things I'm learning outside. But if I don't have that framework inside of me, like I could read all the shit I want. That's do this. But if I don't have that action taking belief in myself, then I won't do it anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the most important, is to have the belief internally first, and it has to be done from subconscious programming, but also doing things like being able to do something and look back on what you've done. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's one of the things Hormozy talks about, is like, I don't ever go into something like with a random belief like, oh, I've got this. It's like, no, I'm trying to build evidence that I've got this.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, just build evidence you're capable of doing.
And the way he's able to do the new thing that he wanted to build evidence on, he still needed some form of belief internally that it probably will work, or like it will be at least a work enough to try it. So it's like that both ends are so important. So it's like stacking the beliefs internally prior, and then also stacking the beliefs externally after when you do the thing.
Right. That's probably where the self-development comes into, because you're stacking your belief that you can do hard shit. So then when like an opportunity vehicle comes around, you're like, oh, like I already know how to do hard shit. Like, this makes sense to jump.
And you don't want to do less than you already done. If I've already done this, why am I doing less than I used to do? So it's like you always want to try to get better. And it's like a stubbornness too. You're like, fuck, I did that last year. I cannot do just that. I have to do more.
Yeah. What are some of those, like, either like books or like courses or like beliefs? Like, what are some of those foundational pieces that, help develop you? Because it sounds like you're saying like inner change first and then kind of outer change, like one of Stephen Covey's like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like, I strongly believe in that as well. It sounds like, there's some overlap there. Like, what are those kind of like foundational pieces you'd maybe recommend to someone who's just starting on their self-development journey?
Yeah, there's so many different things. Like, even watching a movie and finding a character you like, and like what really paying attention to their body language and how they act, and then like seeing why do you like that in that person, and then a lot of times you'll just start to emulate that. Books, especially, like I used to read a lot of books, and now it's like more like I'll read this like a lot. Like I'll read like 1 or 2 books a lot to really get out of it. And then if a lot of times it's like I just trust intuition and things that pop up. So if someone's like, hey, read this book, I'll read a bit of it, I'll get what I think I got out of it, and maybe go on the next one. I just kind of take pieces. Books that I'm recommending right now, I love Patrick Bet-David, like Your Next 5 Moves and Enemies. Those are both really good books. That's kind of where like those two like rocked my world this year. But and The Coaching Habit, I've read it 3 times. It's insane great Coaching Habit.
Yeah, that's a really good book.
So good.
Yeah,
so good. But a lot of it's just like reading people now. It's like reading people, reading situations, learning from those, and that, because that's direct feedback.
Just like being a student in your everyday life, like taking what you can from it.
Totally.
Yeah. And what does your lifestyle look like? Because I know Phil, he kind of asked like a little bit about like, the habits and stuff like that. Like, what does your actual like routine look like? Night routine, morning routine, like eating schedule. Like, what do those look like for you?
Yeah, so don't really have any like set routine. Like I usually eat like 1 meal a day. I just not even because I really want it, it's just because I literally just like I like to like work hungry.
300 calories in 1 meal.
Yeah, like a lot. Like I'm actually want to cut right now, so like I'm trying to eat a bit less, but I just like to have 1 big meal. I love to eat meat. So like my routine is like I'll usually go to the gym in the morning. Sometimes if I need to have stuff done, like I'll just do it first in the morning and then go to the gym later. The gym kind of fits in where it needs to fit, but ideally it's go to the gym and then I just moved into an apartment across from this market, so I'll go to the market, I'll get a steak, I'll get a coffee, and then I'll go do work, and then I'll cook the steak and later and eat it. And just like, I just want to work as much as possible. I just really enjoy it.
Yeah. What percentage of your work would you say is like deep work versus like social work or like putting out fires, like calls, coaching, like?
It's a good question. It depends on like the climate. Like it's like kind of like a lot of it is like reactive in a sense of like what needs to be done. But then there's times where it's like there's me 5 days in a row where it's like things are good and I can really go deep. So it's more of just like how things come up and doing it that way. And there's a lot of stuff I can get better at. There's systems I can implement way better in terms of like, okay, that this time I do deep, this time I do this, but a lot of it's like I just kind of go with it, and it's just been working so far. Yeah.
It sounds like you like trust your like intuition a lot. How much time do you spend like actually like planning? Like, do you do any like journaling or anything like that?
I don't do any journaling. I set my day the day before. I set my week. Like I have like blocks that I have to hit in my schedule. Those are like the big chunks, and then like the next day I usually okay, what are the things I have to get done? I have like a big notes thing with like, you know, you can do a checklist on your notes on your phone. I just always add stuff when I think there's a new thing I got to do, and then I just like check them off. And I'll go like, what's the most important? Get those done first. What's most urgent? And then when I have free time, it's like, what are these are the nice to dos right now? And then so I just love the idea of checking things off, and then it goes to the top. It's nice.
Nice. That's sweet, man. Yeah. Now, what's like I kind of already asked you about like your life philosophies, but do you have any other like beliefs or like quotes that you find are helpful for you that you kind of carry like maybe when you're in a tough situation, like anything like that? Yeah, like I like mood follows action. That's one of my favorite. It's just like a lot of times we want to wait till we're confident enough to do the thing, but if you just do the thing, you'll gain the confidence. And that's what I love. So it's like when I'm feeling a little bit hesitant to do something, it's like that's the perfect time to do it because then I'll learn from it. And then also like not being scared to fail. It's like the sooner you can break something, like the better you know like how to fix it. So it's just like more really take risks, and then gauging what risks are worth taking and not, and then learning from that from failure too. So
nice. Are you thinking about selling 519 at all?
It depends. Like we want to get to 10 mil as a good like testimony, and then we'll see from there. We just started 519 roofers too, because like yeah.
Jeez.
So we just have some subs. So like because we're knocking on my doors, we see roofs and.
It's like fuck it, might as well sell some roofing projects here.
Yeah, I scraped a list of like all the roofers in my city, and then sent them a Google form to fill out for a subcontractor, like a kind of like a interview style Google form, and then a bunch of people filled it out, and then like I interviewed them, and then found like the best like one guy right now. His name's Mark as well. But yeah, he's got a good team, and so we just are subbing in roofs.
So now when you guys are going, they're like, hey, you need painting or roofing?
Yeah, 500 painters and roofers.
Nice. That's gangsta.
But it's like not the big focus. It's kind of a fun thing. And,
yeah.
And it's cool to have like a really high ticket you can push off and make something from it. But
it's also like a good way of like beta testing, because like if your systems and trademarks work,
totally.
then you should be able to do it yourself. And it's also a feedback loop of like what is working, what's not working. We can improve it, and we can improve this offer. So they're pretty like synergistic.
Yeah, because a lot of guys like coaches, they want to add a new service, and I'm like, just stick to the one until you're at a point. And it's like, but it's like, you know, I'm not going to hold you back from doing it. This is what we try to do, and so we're doing to add another service and see how it goes. And I'm not too attached to it at all. Just an idea for now, but we'll see what happens.
That's sick, man. So we have a question that we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
And the question is, if you lost all of your money, all your resources, all your team, and you have no business, all you have is yourself and obviously your skills and knowledge, and you had to make $1 million of profit in the next 3 years, what are you doing?
I am running a coaching business.
Nice.
Yeah.
Online?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Like so many ways, like $1 million in profit in 3 years, yeah. Or I'd start a general contracting business and like only do man caves. Like man caves are dope. Like I think it's so sick. Like 100K man cave, and it's like you just find the rich clientele that want like the secret door that comes out of their pantry that goes down the stair. Like it's something like that. That's a cool question, man. That's a really cool question. I think they're online, like some online offer.
Like high ticket?
Like a high ticket online offer, or like a contracting business high ticket, just anything high ticket. Because the systems are the same, the skills are the same. Why sell a 4K item if you could sell a 130K item, as long as you can back the value?
That's sick. Yeah, I love asking people, because we get like people from different like industries, different backgrounds.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, we always ask that question, so it's cool to see what
Chris said he would run a painting company.
Of course he said that. That's hilarious. Man, yeah, Chris is a G.
Yeah.
What would you guys do? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know. Actually,
I'd probably die. I'd probably get shot in the head after 2 years.
No, I'd probably do coaching. I'd probably do high ticket, like somewhere in the 10K offer, because I think I'm good enough at like sales. I just really have to put like the marketing piece in, and then unfortunately, like delivery is not that important in this hypothetical scenario, because you sell someone, they fucking hate you. All you need is something.
So you use the problem.
So maybe it's the wrong question we're asking, right? But it's just like an interesting like thought experiment. Maybe there would be another question. It's like, oh, if you had to make $100 million in 20 years, then what would you do? And all of a sudden now like the parameters start to change.
Or it's like you can't do what you already done. You can't do the thing you've already done. Exactly where you are, and everything. I want you to start a brand new thing, like a brand new opportunity. What would it be?
What would yours be if you couldn't do coaching?
If I couldn't do coaching, that'd be the man caves.
Yeah.
There's like, but if I couldn't do that either, that's a different question. It'd probably be, that is tough. I don't know what that'd be.
I think I would steal Hormozy's thing when he first started Gym Launch, just a full done for you service of selling clients to gyms. Just going in, setting up Facebook ads, like do a $500 offer, cash collected right up front, just take first month.
But you have to compete against Gym Launch. They're such an established player.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know if they're in Toronto or not. I guess they're probably all over the world. Yeah, they're probably
online.
Sure.
Yeah, or I guess you could go into a remote closer position where you like you're like a subcontractor that closes for different offers.
And just work like 100 hours a week, high ticket closing.
Yeah, and you fill your calendar of like different offers. You got to learn the offer and just close it. At the end of the day, it's solving problems and just like really finding out the person.
Nice. Well, what would be Justin? What would be like your closing thoughts to anyone listening? That's like, dude, how the fuck is this guy running such a big business? Like, what's going on here? Like, what are your closing thoughts to anybody who's maybe looking up to you?
If you have certain beliefs that like are core to you, like stick to them. Don't waver on them, and test them and see if they're like strong enough to actually defend. And then if they are strong to defend them. And then find the people that have similar beliefs and give them opportunity to grow. And then just trust the process and don't get too caught up in ego. Like really check yourself as often as possible, because that's just, you're not going to grow if you just don't think you're the shit. Like then you're going to stay. You're not going to be able to grow your business or anything. Appreciate the people around you. Make wise decisions and don't be afraid to take risks, I guess, and learn from that.
Sick.
Thanks for coming on, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man.
This was a banger, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Wow, appreciate it, man.